Hi guys, EBPMAN here, and today we're going to do a review and installation of the Nest outdoor camera. Now this camera was just released the 15th, so it was just last week, and it is the first Nest camera that is designed for outdoor use. So many of us, and you've seen some reviews that I've done with the Nest camera in the past, have taken our Nest cameras and place them throughout the homes, but in some cases even try to mount these cameras facing outward so that you could get an outward view of what's going on around your home or even around your neighborhood. But this is the first camera that Nest has developed that is actually waterproof. It's going to be in the outdoor. It's able to sustain either extreme heat or extreme cold, and it's going to support all those features that make the Nest suite of services so compelling for you to use. So what we're going to do is do an installation, we're going to do a setup, we're going to review the camera and see how it works, and we're going to do a mounting outside. So we'll go through the entire process of setting one up. So let's do it. So for those of you that may not be very familiar with the Nest cameras, let's take a look at some of the features here. So first of all, 24/7 live video, and you're going to have a 130-degree angle view, which is going to be 1080p. And by the way, this is going to be something that is also supports night vision. It does have apps available both for Android and Apple, and they're very good apps. And one of the things I like about Nest is that they've been very, I would say, proactive to maintaining and updating the apps. Because once the camera's in, you really want to see that continual investment in making the experience even better by using better apps. The other thing I really like about this solution, and I'm really excited to get it going, is the magnetic mount. So you have the ability to mount this using a magnet, and it will stay in its place. Very powerful magnet, and it will simplify the overall installation and adjustment. You do have a couple things that you can subscribe to, which is Nest Aware, and that's a subscription-based service that's going to allow you to really take advantage of online storage. You're going to be able to extend the amount of days that you're storing video online, create time-lapse photography or videos of what's going on in your area, get personal alerts. So the software is intelligent enough to interpret or identify a person as opposed to a bird passing by, so you won't get any false alarms or false notifications. We hope that that's going to reduce it quite a bit. And then again, the ability to download and create these clips. So a lot of flexibility when it comes to how you can view, distribute, and store your videos. Now let's take a closer look or a detailed look at some of the specs that you have here. This is really going to help you guys make your decision. So first of all, the camera is a very lightweight camera, coming in at only 11 ounces. What I like about the included cord is that you do get 25 feet of cord, which is going to be more than enough to really snake it around a door, or if you're going to put it through a wall, whatever you want to do. 25 feet is more than enough. You also notice that the camera has a 3 megapixel color sensor with 8x digital zoom. It's going to record up to 1080p, which is 1920 by 1080, 30 frames per second. It has a field of view of 130 diagonal. So that's good. And then also it does have an audio speaker and microphone. So you can actually speak if you put this somewhere close to your door and someone's walking towards your door, you'll be able to speak to them and they'll be able to hear you. It has night vision, so it has 8 high-powered infrared LEDs. And as we talked about the protection, it's IP65. Here at the very bottom, and I think this is also really important, is the network support. So let's go ahead and zoom in that for a second. So as you can see here, it does support a wide variety of Wi-Fi bands. So you're looking at 2.4 or 5 gigahertz. It will support encryption, and that's really important because at the higher bands, especially with 5 gigahertz where you're going to have more throughput, you want to be able to have 1080p quality. If you don't have a really fast connection or a good connection, your quality of your image is going to suffer. Now once again, this will support Apple, Android. You can access this from your PC, and the quality for the Nest series of cameras, and I have a couple of them already, is quite good. Now, here's just a small tip. When you're doing the unpacking, there is a little tab right here that you may miss, and start taking a knife to everything in the box. But all you have to do is pull this up right here, and as it pulls, it's going to separate the plastic so that you could go ahead and continue to remove all the packaging without stabbing the package. Now, once you remove the cover, it's very simple. Packaging for Nest products is just one of the simplest ones out there. So you remove the cover, you'll have your camera here, and this will come out with this cardboard. One of the first things that you'll notice is, again, the amount of cable that's included. So you have here 25 feet, as we mentioned. And also, one thing that I found interesting is that the cable that goes connected to the camera is permanently fixed. So unlike the other cables for the Nest cameras where it's a micro USB that goes in, this one is not removable, which is great because if you have it mounted, you don't want it getting pulled out by mistake or purposely, and then losing the camera feed. So that is permanently mounted. So here's our USB cable and the camera, and we'll remove this out of the way. We'll have some product information, I'm sure, so that's product information. Put that aside. We have here, and this is going to be, I believe, our mounting system. So this is going to have everything that you need, nicely organized, as you can see there. All your screws, not in a little baggie, but pointing up nicely. And then you have also here the wall anchors. This is your bracket, right? And this is the magnetic bracket. So all it takes is 2 screws to hold it up, and then you'll be able to adjust this as you'd like. And then what you have is some cord management. Let's pull this out so we can see the cord management system that's included. We'll close this. And let's move this out of the way. Kind of comes out in its entirety. And here on the side, if you pull this out like this, these are all your cord management ties. So this is going to allow you to really taper all your cords so they're not flapping around when you're putting it on your wall or stucco, cement, wood, so you can keep it down. And the other thing that I like doing, so I have a lot of outdoor stuff that I put up, is you can paint these. So paint the cord and paint this so that it matches the color of your home and it doesn't stand out. Now, beyond this, what you'll also find here towards the back, and we'll open this up here and this side, is again this is the power base, right? So here, this obviously is going to go into your wall outlet. Here's where the USB connection goes in, and this is waterproof as well. So if this is outside, it has a locking mechanism that once it goes in, it twists. So let's say, for example, we'll grab this cord that we have right here, and we'll plug in the USB. And once you plug it in, you push in like this and turn, and then that locks it into place. So if this were to get wet, if you had to put this outside, you don't have to worry about it. I'll turn it back, and then you are able to pull it out. So that's a really nice design. And then again, very generous amount of cord. Combined, these two pieces make up to 25 feet. Now, the last thing that you have in the box is this base, right? I'm going to take this out. So this base allows you to secure this base into place. So you basically would drill this in, you would place this on top of it, and this will lock in like this, and then this is going to keep this also from swaying or moving. So that's the entire system. Now, before we continue with the installation, let's take a look at the camera. So the camera's pretty simple, very much a Nest camera. So if you have any of the Nest cameras or the drop cams, there's a lot of familiarity with this, with the except of this base right here, which is a little bit different, or a lot different because it's an outdoor and it's completely sealed. You do have on the bottom here, this is your speaker, so when you speak through it, that's where it's going to come out. And that's it. Now, you may be asking yourself, well, how does the camera mount? Well, the camera is a magnetic mount. So let's find our mount here on the side. I'm going to move this aside. So this is your mount, right? And these two pieces right here, and this is a very, very strong magnet. So we'll separate it. This goes screwed onto the wall, and then it basically locks in with this base. And then once you have this base in, and again, it's very, very strong, you're going to take your camera and you're going to put it like this. So when you want to angle the camera, you just turn it just like I did right here, and you can move it. So the nice thing about this is that, I've seen some other cameras that I've reviewed which have kind of the screws. You're trying to adjust, you're trying to get the right view, and you're there with a wrench adjusting it. This one, you can literally put it in any position you want, and it is, I'm telling you, this magnet is strong. I wish I could show you somehow how strong it is, but it is very strong. This is not going anywhere once you adjust it. So now let's go ahead and do the setup of the camera, because you have to do that indoor before you go outdoor. We'll set it up, we'll test our Wi-Fi signal, and then we'll go ahead and see what kind of image quality we get. So now one thing you may run into is as you're setting up your camera, you may have in your house a 2.4 gigahertz network and also a 5 gigahertz network. And you have to ask yourself, which is the best one for where this camera is going to be located. And since you have to set this up before indoors, here's a tip of an application that I really like, and I've used this a lot, that really helps with understanding your network connectivity. So this is a product called Wi-Fi Analyzer, and it allows you to connect to the networks of your home if you have a 2.4 or a 5 gigahertz network, and then see what the signal strength is. You would think that the higher signal strength, the greater performance, the higher throughput. So this is going to be able to give you that insight without having to go through the trial and error and then installing the camera, deinstalling it because you're just not getting the kind of signal. So I went outside, I stood in the position where I want to have the camera, and I checked both of my networks to see which one has the highest strength. And in my case, because I'm going through brick, I found that my 5 gigahertz was around here, was around the -80. But then what I found is that the 2.4, because that signal tends to do better going through solid objects, was closer to between the 60 and the 80, and 60 and the 50, as you can see right there. So that's going to be my choice. Now once you power up your camera's LED is going to start out blue, and then it's going to change colors as it's waiting for a signal. So the next thing I'm going to do is go into my Nest app, and we're going to pair it. Now if you have an existing Nest account like I do, because I had the Nest thermostat and I also have a couple cameras, as you can see there, all you're going to do is you're going to tap this button here to get into the menu where you're going to be able to add your camera. Now once you've chosen that, you can slide down, and you'll notice that I have a couple cameras here. So I have my dining room and the cameras, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose right here, I'm going to choose Add Product. Since I'm talking about the Nest Cam, so here you have some legacy. So you have the Drop Cam Pro, the Drop Cam that I've reviewed previously. We're going to choose the Nest Cam, which is the new one. And the next thing I'm going to hit is Continue, so that it can determine my location. And we're going to say Allow. Now the next thing it's going to want to do is to scan the barcode, or in this case the QR code on the camera. So I'm going to take the camera, find the QR code, and then just scan it. And now that it's scanned it, it's going to go through the process of setting up my Wi-Fi and everything that's needed in order to get the camera up and running. So now that we've inputted our Wi-Fi credentials and selected our Wi-Fi, we'll let it go through the setup. Now once the setup is complete, you'll hear an audible chirp or beep, and then you'll be able to see your camera. So here I see my camera as I'm moving my hand over it. You can see that it's coming up. So now we're ready to go. So now we're going to go outside. We're going to plug everything in. We're going to just drill in into the wall where I want the mount, and then we'll come back to the video. All right, so I went ahead and installed the mounting bracket right on the side of my garage. So all it takes is 2 screws, as you can see right there, and then I went ahead and I placed this bracket. So once you put this bracket in, as you can see right there, that's all there is to it. Now I'll connect my camera, and I'll run my cable through the side right here, and then tuck it underneath this area going inside of the house. That way I don't have to really drill into either my brick or through my siding. And I'm going to paint this the same color. I have this paint, and paint the wire as it's going on the side. Now mounting the camera is pretty simple, just as we said. All you got to do, and you'll see this right here, is place it in place, and it's mounted. And now all I can do is I can adjust it. Now because of the wide angle lens, I didn't really mount the bracket further out, plus I didn't want to splinter the wood here. This is enough to cover a pretty wide area, so I'm not really worried about tilting the camera this way. I'm really more focused on the downward angle, as well as and probably facing more this way. So I'll be able to catch packages that are coming in, as well as any kind of movement in my driveway. So what I did is I switched from the phone view to my PC so that you can see what the camera's capable of grabbing. Pretty wide angle lens, as you can see there, covering the front of my house, a car in the driveway, and an area that I'd like to make sure I monitor. So one of the things I'm going to do is establish zones. So I'm going to create a zone, and this is how zones are created. So what I want to do is if anybody were to, let's say, walk, I'm going to put it from right here into my driveway, and we're going to put it maybe all the way up to here. And then I'm going to stretch this out also to one big zone. And you know what? Maybe what I'll do is I won't stretch it that far. Maybe I'll create two zones. So here I have the area where I want to track. And you can have up to 4 zones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one zone here. And this one is going to be kind of like my main driveway. All right, so we'll do that. And then since when I get deliveries, many times someone will walk through this area, I'm going to create another one. So I'm going to create another zone, and we're going to do create. And this one I'm going to put right along this path. All right, so then not that the mail guy or the UPS or FedEx guys walk on this area, but at least I'll make a distinction, and then I can rename this zone to something else. So here it is right here. Right? So that zone is now also been defined, and if I go into my zones, I can see the zones here. Right? I can enable or disable them, and I can edit them. So that means changing either one. If I'd like to change the name, I'll just call this one driveway. You can see that on the bottom it's coming up. So now I know that if there's kind of some activity in the driveway, I'll pick it up. And just in case, since it is a driveway, I'm going to extend it a little bit further so that if someone were to walk on the grass, I want that to cover all that area right there. So that's going to pick up that area. And I'm going to hit done. And I'm going to go back into my zones. And I'm going to go to that zone 2. And we'll edit. And this zone, I'm going to name it the walkway. All right, so it's going to be called the walkway. And I think that one's pretty good. I like where it's at. And I could check or uncheck if I want to have be notified. Remember, it's going to know the difference between a person and a rabbit or something passing by. Now, the one other thing I could do is I can create another zone, because I can have up to 4 zones, and I can put that one right by my mailbox. So I can bring this up right here. So if there's any activity going on by the mailbox, I will know. So I'll bring that up right here. I can bring this little ball over. And it's going to give you it gives you a lot of flexibility. So this is really going to give you the ability to control what's going on. Now, if I want, I can bring this one up here, just like this. Take this one that was over here, bring it like that, and then I can make more of the shape of the mailbox. It doesn't really have to be perfect. It's just going to grab that area. So I'll name that one mailbox. So these are now all my zones, and it's pretty solid now. So let's look and see what else I can do with the app itself. So this is the button right here that I can use to speak. If I tap this, the person that's outside will hear it. I could also zoom in, and if I zoom in, and we're going to go ahead and do that. So here's the zoom in, and you'll notice that the zoom is pretty. You can control the area that you're zooming in as well. So I can, if I wanted to, have this to be the area that I want to see. And then what you do is you hit this button right here, and it's going to enhance the area to get better resolution. So now it's cleaning it up, and it was a little bit blurry. Now look at how clean that image looks. So now if someone walks here, this could be the area that I'm monitoring, and I'll get an alert. I can bring it, I can bring it out again. We'll zoom in, and then we'll zoom out all the way. I'm going to go back to reset. So that's why I clicked this thing right here, and this is the normal view. So once again, I can zoom in slightly. I can adjust the way the image is. I can do it manually right here. I'll probably go outside and adjust the camera just a little bit because it feels like it's kind of on a side a little bit, but a lot of neat controls there. Other things that you can do. What you can do is turn on or schedule when things are going to take place. You can have the image quality be set to auto. Night vision is set to auto. I can rotate the image to flip things around. Um, I can talk and listen with a chime, so that's on. You have the status light, and then you actually have sound, so you can listen to what's going on. Location, and then this is all the technical information as far as the software version and whatnot. You can schedule it when it will turn on as well. So a lot of flexibility with this solution, and like I said, I may tilt the camera down a little bit so that I get more of my property as opposed to being so high up and getting this area right here. But so far, very happy with it. And again, a lot of flexibility, and I'm seeing things moving pretty smoothly on the camera. Now, one thing before we wrap up the video, I wanted to show you this area down here. This area right here is really picking up activity, right? So if there is any kind of activity going on. So here you'll notice I'm walking and picking up my screwdriver that fell underneath the car. So it's showing that there. And I could also do this on the phone. The phone app is pretty cool too, which I'll show you. So here are some more activity that's going on at a specific time. And each one of these dots is going to be a detection of motion that you can just go into. You do have the ability to look at this in a specific calendar. So if you did subscribe to the service, you can have multiple days. You do have also hours and minutes and second views. So still real nice timeline to control and see what's going on. So now returning back to the app, I wanted to show you some of the features that you have. So here, each one of these lines represents a specific zone. And what you could do is you can actually almost go through time lapse very quickly through all of the activity that was going on. And you notice as I'm moving my finger up, it's taking in my installation because I had the camera on and mounting it and adjusting it. So really a fast way to see what's going on in your area. And also keep in mind that you can speak. You see that little mic there through the phone as well. So if you do see someone coming in to deliver a package, you could have a dialogue with them. And and if you didn't have a Ring doorbell, this would be a good option. So this concludes my installation, review, and overview of the Nest Outdoor Cam. Really like the camera. I'll be looking at night footage tonight, and I'll update my comments around that night footage as that takes place. If you have any comments or questions about this video, leave it in the bottom area. And if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to share and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.